Welcome back. If this is your first time here on this channel and you experience any kind of issues with playback, please check out the link in the description to my mirrored account on BitChute.com, redpill_McKenzie. Now, in today's video, we're picking up where we left off. We're now in week 4 of February 2019 with the high-level resignations. Talking CEOs, CFOs, COOs, heads of state, police chiefs, you name it. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's a new week until we catch up. But real quick, where do I get the names from? I get them from a site called resignation.info, maintained by Resignation Anon. And despite the meme I just showed you, there are actually a lot of good people on this list. Not everyone on this list is a bad person. There's a ton of those, but even still, be reserved because not everyone's going to be indicted. Go ahead, check out the link to the indictments if that's something you haven't seen already. There's also a little feature where you can report resignations. Anything that's not on the list since September 2017 or, just brand new, right? Go ahead. Put that link to that news article in there, submit it. Once it's been verified, it'll be added to the list. But get this, if it's new and it's notable, chances are you're going to see it on the next resignation show. Every other Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. German time, with the next show being on May 12th, and it's hosted on a channel called In Real Life News. I'll put the link to their channel in the description, or while you're rummaging around on the resignation site, go ahead, link up with them there, and boom, In Real Life News. Or catch up with any of the episodes of the resignation show you may have missed. Who knows how many you missed by now? There's been so many. But anyway, now that that's been taken care of, let's get to the list. With the CEO and president to New Brunswick Liquor Corporation in the U.S., Brian Harriman, he resigned and went off to be COO at Sundial Growers, Inc. He was also the CEO and president to Cannabis NB, going off to leave for the same company, of course. With the CEO to Pioneer Natural Resources in the U.S., Tim Dove, he retires, replaced by Scott Sheffield. With the CEO to Village Roadshow Limited in Australia, Graham Burke, he retired and will remain as a non-executive director for the same company. With the CEO and president to Women's Hospital in Louisiana, Terry Fontenot, retired. We have the CEO to South Cambridgeshire District Council in the UK, Beverly Agass. She retired, and she takes an early retirement with more than £200,000 in pension of contribution. That's just a side note. We have the CEO and president to Kentucky Derby Festival in the U.S., Mike Berry, retired. We have the CEO and president to Interflex Limited in Canada, J. Blair Gordson, retired. We have chairman to Piper Jaffray Companies in the U.S., Andrew Duff, retired. We have the CEO to Cell C in South Africa, Jose dos Santos. We have the CEO to Zillow Group Inc. in the U.S., Spencer Raskoff. He resigned and is replaced by Rich Barton. We have the CEO to Regis Healthcare in Australia, Ross Johnston. We have the CEO and we have the chairman to Crusader Resources in Australia. Pause if you need to read those names. You might have some time here. Both resigned as part of a funding deal. The CEO was replaced by Stephen Kopoulos, and the chairman was replaced by Andrew Richards. With the CEO and president to Hino Jidosha KK in Japan, he was replaced by Shigehiro Matsuoka. We have the CEO to Central Bank and Hong Kong Monetary Authority in China, Norman Chan, retired. We have a board member to Twitter Inc. in the U.S., Evan Williams. We have the CEO and VP to Texas Medical Association in the U.S., Louis J. Goodman, retired. We have the CEO and VP to Lewiston Auburn Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce in Maine, Becky Conrad. We have the CEO and chairman to Changfeng Energy Inc. in China, Huajian Lin. We have the CEO to Innovate Biopharmaceuticals in the U.S., Christopher Pryor, resigned and is replaced by Sandeep Lamas. We have the CEO and we have the CFO to Liberty Health Sciences Inc. in Canada. Pause if you need to read those names. We have a member of parliament to the Labour Party in the UK, Ian Austin. We have the CEO to Brian Holding Vision Institute Foundation in Australia, Amanda Davis. We have the CFO to MGM Resorts International in the US, Dan Darigo. We have the chairman to Diamond Hill Investment Group Inc. in the US, Rick Dillon, retired. We have the sporting director to Schalke 04 in Germany, Christian Heidel. We have the sports announcer to Iowa Hawkeyes in the U.S., Gary Dolphin. He was suspended over comments he made during a broadcast that week. We have a board member 2, Colgate Palmolive in the U.S., Ellen Hancock, retired. We have CEO to Child Focus Inc. in the U.S., Jim Carter, retired. We have a model from Argentina, Nachata Natasha Jake. Yeah, she died at the age of 41. It was suspected drug-related stroke. She denounced a supposed pedophilia network in 2018 that involved Argentine journalists, politicians, and celebrities. So take that for what that's worth. We have, and by that I mean just the entire story, both sides of it. We have the chairman to Taveda Investments Limited in the UK, Karen Brady. We have the chairman to that Economic Growth Agency in South Africa, Davis McCullough. He resigned after a failed attempt to remove Parastatel's chief executive, Zola Sitol. We have the CEO to Stemmer Imaging AG in Germany, Christoph Zolich. He resigned and was replaced by Arnie Den. We have the CEO to Quicklock Corp in the U.S., John Rothenbuehler, retired. We have the CEO to Tetra Technologies Inc. in the U.S., Stuart Brightman, retired and is replaced by Brady Murphy. We have the CEO to Workforce Central in the U.S., Linda Nguyen, retired. We have the CEO to Leicestershire Partnership NHS Trust in the UK, Peter Miller, retired. We have the Foreign Minister to the Iranian government in Iran, Mohammed Javad Zarif. We have a Director to the Economic and Organized Crime Office in Ghana, ACP KK Amoa. He retired and rejected claims that he had been sacked from his office. We have the CEO to Women in Sport in the UK, Ruth Holdaway. We have the CEO to ConnectWise in the US, Arnie Bellini. ConnectWise, this is a side note, was to be sold to Thoma Bravo. We have Deputy Chairman to Gazprom in Russia. And we also have the Deputy Chairwoman. Pause if you need to read both of those names because they both got fired and I'm not reading them. We have the President to Skidmore College in New York, Philip Glotzbach. We have a board member to Enea AB in Sweden, Asa Sundberg. We have the Chairman to Albert Mining Inc. in Canada, Andre Audit. We have the Chief Administrative Officer to Peace Health in the U.S., Carol Aaron. She retired and is replaced by Steve Glenn. We have a Director to Skopje Prison in Macedonia, Zhoko Kotevsky. He got fired 3 days before he resigned, and there's question marks on that note. And the additional notes say that he confirmed a report on the incidents in which the detained former ministers Spiro Ristovsky and Milej Janekiski were attacked. We have the CEO to Blackmores in Australia, Richard Hinfrey. We have the CEO to Vic Roads in Australia, Michael Milov. We have the CEO and President to Nova Scotia Health Authority in Canada, Janet Knox, retired. We have the CEO and President to OrthoFix in the U.S., Brad Mason, retired. We have the CEO and President to Full Alliance Group in the U.S., Jacob Thomas. He retired and is replaced by Paul Brian Volpe. We have the CEO and President to Cornwall Manor in the U.S., Stephen D. Hassinger, retired. We have a board member to NN Inc. in the U.S., William Bill Dries, retired. We have the CEO to Marinus Pharmaceuticals Inc. in the U.S., Christopher Cashman. We have the CEO to Direct Line Insurance Group PLC in the UK, Paul Geddes. We have a board member to Hospital Corporation of America in the U.S., Annie Lamont. We have the chairman to Atlantic Power Corporation in the U.S., Irving G. Gerstein, retired. We have the owner to JW Childs Associates in the U.S., John Childs. He retired and was also charged with soliciting prostitution in a human trafficking investigation. We have the CEO to Sea Change International in the U.S., Edward Torino. He resigned amid dispute with the largest shareholder. We have the CEO to Pharmaceutical Society of Australia in Australia, Graham Catt. We have the CEO to Defence Teaming Centre in Australia, Margot Forster. She resigned and was replaced by Audra McCarthy. We have the CEO to Singapore Pools Limited in Singapore, Chen Xiong. Resigned and went off to be CEO at Singapore Institute of Management. We have the CEO to Riyadh Bank in Saudi Arabia, Abdul Majid Al Mubarak. He resigned and was replaced by Tariq Al-Sadhan. We have the president to Hudson's Bay in Canada, Alison Colville. We have a director to VML Malaysia in Malaysia, Lisa Hazila. We have the CEO to Etra ASA in Norway, Arvi Regland. He resigned and went off to be CFO at Fredensborg AS. We have the chairman to Superdry in the UK, Peter Bamford. We have the CEO to Telenor Microfinance Bank in Pakistan, Shahid Mustafa. Shahid resigned and was replaced by Aslam Haya. We have the automotive CEO to Barlow World Limited in South Africa, Keith Rankin. We have the CFO and VP to Trinseo in the US, Barry J. Niziolik, retired. We have the Chief Legal Officer to CBS in the US, Lawrence Tu. We have the CEO and Director to Fond du Lac Family YMCA in Wisconsin, Greg Giles. He resigned and went off to be Chief Advancement Officer at the YMCA of Greater Houston. We have Director to Catco Reinsurance Opportunities Fund Limited in Bermuda, Alistair Barbour. He retired and went off to be a director at Lion Trust Asset Management. We have the Environment Minister to the Slovenian government in Slovenia, Jor Leben. Resigned over a scandal concerning the construction of a new railway. We have the CEO and President to Metro West Chamber of Commerce in the U.S., Paul Joseph. We have the CEO and Chairman to the Michaels Companies in the U.S., Chuck Rubin. We have a Director to Hacienda Healthcare in Arizona, Tom Pomeroy. We have the CEO to Lynx in the U.S., Edward L. Johnson. Resigned after reports about a potential $21 million debt. We have the CFO to H&H International AS in Denmark, Ian L. Perkins. We have the CEO and President to Nordson Corporation in the U.S., Michael F. Hilton, retired. We have the CEO and President to Memorial Hermann Health System in Texas, Charles Chuck D. Stokes, retired. We have the CEO and President to Tradegar Corporation in the U.S., John D. Gottwald. He retired and was replaced by couldn't be by himself. That has to be an error. We're just going to ignore that. Wool just retired. Couldn't have replaced himself. Maybe he's still working there. That's odd. I don't know why I didn't catch that. We have the CEO. You're keeping it. To the Community Foundation of North Florida in the U.S., Joy Watkins, retired. We have the CEO and President to Kansas Health Foundation in the U.S., Steve Cohen, retired. We have the CEO, and we have these two board members. Pause if you need to read them. They're from Stericycle Inc. in the U.S. All three of them retired. The CEO was replaced by Cindy J. Miller. We have the President of North America to General Motors Company in the U.S., Alan Beatty. He retired and was replaced by Barry Engel. We have these two directors to Inchcape PLC in the UK. Both of them retired. Nigel was replaced by John D. Gottwald. Well, this is where he went. We have the CEO and President to Price Chopper Enterprises in the U.S., Peter Sciacco, retired and was replaced by Brian Haroja. We have the VP to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan in the U.S., Kevin Klobuchar, retired. He also retired as the CEO and President of Blue Care Network in the U.S. We have the CEO and President to Birmingham Business Alliance in the U.S., Brian Hilson. We have the CEO to P. Terry's in the U.S., Patrick Terry. He resigns, replaced by Todd Corver. We have the CEO to Central Provident Fund in Singapore, Ng Chi Ping. We have the interim CEO to Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa in South Africa, Sibusiso Sito. We have the CEO to Fresno Economic Opportunity Commission in California, Brian Angus. We have the chairman to Kalita Holdings AG in Switzerland, Thomas Lustenberger. We have the chairman to Jet Airways in India, Naresh Goyal. We have the CEO and chairman to Home Box Office, also known as HBO in the U.S., Richard Plepler. We have the CEO to CCC Shoes and Bags in Poland, Drish Malik. And we have the COO and president to the MGM Grand Hotel in the U.S., Scott Sabella. Don't forget, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's a new week until we catch up. We're coming in hot. March is next. But anyway, don't forget about the Resignation show on In Real Life News, May 12th. That's coming up that next Sunday, next week. But anyway, if you like my content, why not? Go ahead. Share, because sharing's caring. If you haven't already yet, go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. That way YouTube has no choice on what kind of content of mine you get to see. Hope you enjoyed it. I love you all. God bless you all. This is Red Pill McKenzie.